Kant is wrong about reason and assholes. The philosophy professor at UC Irvine, Aaron James, wrote a book about the philosophy of assholes called Assholes, a Theory. He writes about the inevitability of assholes in human society. They are a fact of life, and we have to find peace with that in order to find peace with life in general. I've also talked about the famous 1700s Enlightenment philosopher Immanuel Kant many times before. In my last video on the book Less Than Nothing, I got into my favorite Hegelian slash Lacanian slash Marxist philosopher Slavoj Žižek's opinion on Kant's well-known concept called the categorical imperative. Check out my Slavoj Žižek slash Kant videos to learn about that. As is often the case with philosophers, Kant has detailed opinions on a wide variety of subjects. One of them is self-conceit, otherwise known as being an asshole. Kant compared self-conceit to a rock upon which, quote, man is wrecked, unquote. Your awkward position makes life unnecessarily difficult for you. Forcing your mind away from intelligence and hiding from reason is strenuous. Kant argues that our most meaningful relationships are wrecked by assholery, which gradually alienates us from the desire for these relationships. Moral reasoning is a kind of self transcendence. Yeah, it brings you out of your own experience and into the perspective of others. It's another side of reality, which has everyone in it instead of just you. Kant says that this allows you to see their points of view and them to see your point of view. Together, they form the noble unity of reason. Sir, this empathy grounds most human connection, and much of what we value in any relationship depends on it. Kant is just fucking naive on this subject, though, man. Yes, being an asshole can certainly wreck you. It might make life unnecessarily difficult for you. There'll likely be a lot more stress and drama in your life, but some people obviously enjoy conflict. They thrive on it. Conflict excites them. There are fucked up people in the world who have trauma that hasn't been dealt with. So they act crazy and seek out drama due to psychological issues related to the trauma. They like this. Some of them do it deliberately, while others obviously do it subconsciously. People need fucking therapists and hobbies, man. It's also actually not difficult at all for some people to hide from reason and force their minds away from intelligence. It's easy to just become dumb because you're too lazy to think critically. Many people do this. It's pretty common. They do it because life is hard. The world is a dark place, and it's because the world is a dark place, and all we have to and with all we have to struggle through, we all have to struggle through it, like separately and together. It's easier to deal with your own shit if you have no empathy for others. Our most meaningful relationships are practically guaranteed to be destroyed by assholery. However, some people just don't care. Yes, many of us feel bad when we're conceited dickheads to others. However, some of us just don't give a shit about it. We're living in an increasingly curated and individualized world where large portions just do nothing but work and take care of our homes and families. Kant even says himself that wrecking these relationships alienates us from our very desire to have them in the first place. Also, moral reasoning is not fucking self transcendence. That's just the way Kant wants life to be. Yes, it can help us see each other's perspectives so we can have empathy for each other and create connections and meaningful relationships. But people have to choose to do that. We're all very biased, especially online, where way too many people spend way too much time. We also incentivized by algorithms to confirm our biases and starts fight with those who disagree with us. Moral reasoning will almost certainly not unite us in the noble transcendence of reason. That's not the way people behave. As I've mentioned many times, the social and moral psychologist Jonathan Haidt has helped research and draw attention to moral foundations theory. A crucial part of this is that humans do not act rationally. We think and behave intuitively, then form post hoc rationalizations. We rationalize our intuitions until they sound rational. Humans are certainly capable of reason, but it's a hell of a lot more challenging than the way Kant makes it out to be. We have to consciously fight against our instinctual nature in order to be reasonable. And even if we grant for the sake of argument that humans can reason with each other and transcendently identify with each other's arguments to the point that we make the world a better place with reason, this is just scientism, which is related to the philosophy of logical positivism. It's essentially the worship of science, reason, and rationality, as if rational empirical science can literally solve all of the world's problems. Famous militant atheist and butcher of philosophy, Sam Harris bears out this false kind of argument in his book, The Moral Landscape. He argues that science can determine our objective, scientific, universal human values. That's just bullshit. Science will never tell us what questions to ask and what the answers mean. It's also pretty much fucking impossible to decide what is morally and right based on science. You can't even scientifically study that. There are no such thing as objective scientific moral values. Science doesn't whisper values, questions, and meanings directly into our heads. That's just not how human brains work in reality. Many people enjoy drama, and life is hard. It's way easier to be intellectually lazy and not think critically. Some people just don't give a shit if they alienate others and ruin relationships. For many assholes, that's the main part of being one. Delusional narcissism. Moral reasoning is not self transcendence. Give me a fucking break, Kant. Reason isn't going to fix the world. Rationalistic empirical science will not give us moral values. Maybe I'm just too black pilled or cynical, but we're not gonna fucking empathize with others and use noble scientific developments to save the world with our transcendent reason. Like I said, Kant is just fucking naive and has a hard on for reason.